The next presenter is Karthik Srivastava. Are you present, sir? Because I could not find his name in the people list. I think he is absent. Mr. Karthik Srivastava? No. In that case, I would like to invite Mr. Priyankar Chakraborty to take us through co-creating aquatic conservation solutions with fishers, demonstrating the value of community engagement in biodiversity conservation. Mr. Priyankar Chakraborty.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, just give me a minute. I'll just start my slide. I hope my slide is visible as well.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Priyankar Chakraborty, and by profession, I'm an ethnoichthyologist. So today I'm here to basically make a case for the integration of the diverse knowledge systems that exist outside of scientific knowledge to incorporate for protecting aquatic biodiversity. But I'm sure this can also be applied to terrestrial biodiversity or terrestrial ecosystems. So a little bit about the genesis of this entire thing. It's not. I just want to make it clear that it's not that I am the person who came up with this idea of co-creating knowledge, but what got me. It's more about what got me interested and how I've applied to different studies that I've done. So I was visiting a very rural part of Bengal where I came across a gentleman who was fishing in a wetland using a fishing hook and rod. So, like most people, I was standing behind him, waiting for him to pull up like a 10 kilo or 20 kilo fish, being quite naive about it. But every time he was trying to pull up something, he was missing it and he was cursing, adding the name of the fish. So I found it very interesting, and eventually I asked him, like, how are you very sure that you are missing that particular fish and not something else? Because the water is completely muddy, you cannot see anything. So then he told me that, just by looking at how the bait is remaining on the hook, like how, so basically how the fish is attacking the bait, he could tell that it was a rohu, the one photographed below, because it was nibbling at the bait, which a mrigel or a mirgel, as we would call it, would never do, which he was actually trying to catch. So this was, apart from finding it very interesting, this kind of displaced my whole notion of scientific knowledge holders, because I was under the impression that such deep natural history knowledge usually lies with scientists or natural history practitioners, not with people who are just doing fishing or something like that. So maybe at that time I didn't put much effort into it, but later on, for my studies and everything, I really went back to this particular incident. So yeah, so like I said in the beginning, I'm making a case for collaboration, especially for aquatic ecosystems, because they face what is termed as wicked problems, because the problems that they face cannot be solved. At least now we know that they cannot be solved by one discipline alone. So they can be anything like overfishing, impact of invasive species. You will always find that these problems are at the intersection of certain disciplines or areas, which cannot be solved by one person or one organization or whatever you name it. So yeah, I'm making the case that we have to come together at some level of agreement. And by we, I don't mean just different disciplines or different departments, I mean everyone. So yeah, this is one of the case studies that I'll be talking about. So here, that's me in the Sundarbans. So I've used a blend of traditional and scientific knowledge to understand the present status of elasmobranch, which are sharks, rays, and shark-like rays. Mainly guitarfish and sawfish in the Sundarbans, because historically they were there, but after that nothing is known about them. So I went out there and I held I shouldn't say hell, but I more like discussed with fishers who have been fishing in that region for a long, long amount of time. And so my method was semi-structured interviews. and combined with biological data sampling and
Excuse me. I think
yes.
slides are not moving.
Oh, is that so?
You can go to the full screen mode.
I am. Wait 1 second then. Is it still stuck on the first slide or is it moving now?
No, it is in blending traditional and scientific knowledge
Yeah.
slide,
Yes, I'm talking about that only.
but
So,
it is not in the presentation mode.
okay. Is it now?
No, something is wrong.
Uh, yeah, because in on my
But
end
this is
it's
fine. We can see this. No problem.
yeah, I mean just bear with it for now because
Sure,
I
sure,
guess
sure.
something
Yep.
is I'm very sorry about that. So yeah, like I was saying, so I was combining both methods, which allowed me to understand a lot about the fish's historical presence, abundance, as well as uh, current abundance, population structure, and most importantly, I was able to get insights about what are the reasons and from when in a from a temporal standpoint when actually decline started. So a whole lot of data which overall when I was analyzing it, it gave me a very good picture of the status of these conservation dependent fish in our region. So this is the second case study. This is more of a recent thing. As a matter of fact, this is still going on as part of me as project associate for Campa Dolphin project in Wildlife Institute of India. So I'm looking at invasive species and trying to understand from different stakeholders how they perceive invasive species, if at all they are bothered by it, by its impacts to the environment and all. So most of it is being held in West Bengal and Bihar. So here also we are having discussion with different stakeholders, starting from fish, people who catch wild caught fish, people who farm fish, vendors who are selling fish, and even consumers. We are meeting them in the markets when they're buying their fish. We are asking them why this and why not that, and trying to understand their thing. So a lot of that is not just data collection from an ecological or biological standpoint, but also integrating. So for example, we realized the picture on the left is of what is popularly known as hybrid magur or thai magur, but it's not actually a hybridized fish. There might have been some hybridization that has occurred as of now, but it is actually a species that comes from Africa. So we realized there are some basic terminological issues that people are not very well aware of, which also changes their perception as to how it affects, because a lot of people think, oh, these are not from other places, these are Indian fish, so they cannot affect the Indian and aquatic environment that much. Same with roopchand or roopchada on the right. It's not a chada at all or glassfish. It's basically a cousin of the piranhas from South America. But again, we found that many people, including fish farmers who are farming them, are not completely aware of this. A very basic point, but
Sir, could you basically scroll basically the not in the presentation mode, but in the other way, other window. Yeah,
other window as
yeah,
in.
yeah, 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 yeah. This
Oh,
particular
okay.
window.
This is
Because
better,
this
right?
is a window we can see. We can't see your presentation window at all.
Oh, okay. I'll work from here only then. I guess
Yes,
this is visible now.
yes, it is.
Okay. So yeah, so basically, I mean, I've asked a few other case studies as well, but for this presentation, I've only put these two. So the other one that I've worked on are uh, shark attacks in the Sundarbans, which are popularly known as Kamot attacks, which used to happen a lot back in the day, but now it has stopped. So over there also, it was using a collaborative approach where not just looking at biological or ecological data, but also looking at other data points, which gave us very good understanding of the whole, a holistic understanding of the whole phenomenon. So yeah, so what till now what I've talked about is basically this bridging disciplines and also perspectives. So I'll be talking about a bit about the challenges. So I think, I mean, there could be an unending list of challenges that people face, because it also depends on the researcher or the team or whatever. But basically, I've come across two challenges which are sort of universal, irrespective of where you stand or who you are as a researcher. One is, how do we translate this knowledge that we are collecting from, let's say, for the sake of argument, from a non-scientific world into the scientific language? And the second one is, how do we build trust enough to believe what the other person is telling me, and also for them to understand and believe what we are trying to tell them. So for the first thing, I think it really helps if you have actually an interdisciplinary team. Especially people from social sciences are very good in translating knowledge, Fisher's knowledge in this case, into scientific language. So for me, it has been an advantage, because I was trained as a social scientist for my bachelor's. But still, I've worked with anthropologists and sociologists. So again, it brings back to my original case for collaboration, why we need this. So, and for the second thing, building strict stakeholder trust, and the other way around, I think it mainly depends on, how much patience you have, because they, at the very beginning, they might just not give you any importance, or they might be even scared of you. They might think, it has happened to me a lot, because they were always thinking I'm from some department of the forest, and I'm just trying to, unearth some illegal trade or something, and then I'll just go and report it to Boro Babu, and then they'll be all in trouble. So it requires patience. It will require that openness for other perspectives, which is also something that I've come across. Uh, at the very beginning, sometimes when fishers used to tell me their tales, it seemed very outlandish or seemed very out of place. For example, they would say, like, we found a shark maybe like 30 feet long, and it didn't, biologically it didn't make sense. But so I realized over time that, even if people are telling you something that at the moment is outside of your knowledge system, you shouldn't have a knee jerk reaction and just ask them to stop or something, or correct them then and there. So because a lot of points might be very valuable, if not the length of the shark. But something that did came up was that, from that information, was that during the high tide, a lot of large sharks do come in following other fish into the estuaries of the Sundarbans where they were catching this. So these two photographs actually portray a very good scenario. So on the right, I'm having a focus group discussion with fishers in the Sundarbans to understand historical presence of elasmobranch in there. And on the left are photographs of sawfish rostrum or snout, the ones with teeth on both sides, not the middle one. That's a swordfish. So these are in the Indian Museum. So I was there to study this, to collect data, morphological data of this. So, both were giving me historical perspective of sawfish in the region. But again, these are different methods, different groups, different, data points, which is very much needed in a collaborative thing. Okay, so the road ahead, or gaps, or whatever, I think with this kind of interdisciplinary or even transdisciplinary studies, the opportunities are endless in countries like India. Not just India, I think the whole of South Asia and Southeast Asia. We can come together, we can strive for the ultimate goal of protecting ecosystem, protecting animals. I mean, that can be the overarching goal, but the smaller goals underneath it, we can come together as scientists, we can come together as departments and communities and whatnot. I mean, all stakeholders involved. So yes, let's build partnerships. So over here, I've just mentioned three stakeholders, but I'm pretty sure there are stakeholders within these stakeholder groups that make sense. So yeah, all hands on deck. We need everyone. If you're a researcher, let's collaborate. Not just with me. I'm talking about, like, collaborate with other disciplines. I mean, if you're a ecologist, hardcore ecologist, do sit down with a sociologist. Think about, like, how do we address this problem. If you're a historian, do share your inputs when talking about some ecological or biodiversity problems. If you're a policymaker, then give studies that are more interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary in nature more chances, more fundings. And And although I'm making a case for aquatic ecosystem here, I'm pretty sure all of this is equally applicable in terrestrial or any other ecosystem. And if you're someone who is a non-scientist, just engage in citizen science initiatives. And it also doesn't have to be like active citizen science like iNaturalist or Indian Biodiversity Portal. You can simply upload your photos on Facebook and some Instagram, and that can be part of passive citizen science initiatives, something which I'm working on right now, like trying to understand how valuable those data are. And I'm pretty sure if we all come together, we can, try to create a sustainable future for aquatic ecosystems and others as well. So yes, thank you very much for your attention. And yeah, if you feel free to reach out and have discussions or collaborations or whatnot, my email ID is given. And a small note about these two photographs, again, bringing back everything back. So these two photos, the one on the right is a fish from the Sundarbans, which was first recorded by me. But thanks to the fishers with whom I had a lot of discussion over the years, and they started trusting me. So this fish was brought alive by them and given to me, to the point where they even understood what kind of work I was doing with fish. So they pointed out that they have never seen this fish. And when I finally did all the studies, biological and things studies, I found out that yes, indeed, it is a fish that hasn't been recorded from Sundarbans. And the one on the left is even more important because it's called a butterfly ray, which are usually present in the marine areas and sometimes in brackish waters they enter. But this fish was caught very weirdly from Howrah district near in Uluberia. And the fishers shared this photograph with me, which eventually led to a publication, which now stands as the most inland record of this species in the whole world. But it was all thanks to the fishers who trusted in me, who understood that there is a value in sharing such photos and that science can be, propagated through this, which eventually will help them. So yes, thank you very much for listening to me babble.
Thank you for this thought-provoking presentation. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
I have a question on the
Yes,
slide.
please. Yes.
You mentioned that this is a new discovery of the species.
Not the species per se, but a
So
record.
the distribution.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Otherwise, what is the general distribution of this species in India or in coastal areas?
Yeah, it's found in it's quite common in the coastal areas, but very little is known about its movement. So basically, for any sharks, rays, or allied fish, very little for India is known about the internal riverine movement of these fish. But back in the day, in the British days, it was especially in West Bengal, it was such a problem that the British used to give 5 rupees to every person who would kill a shark. And I'm talking about not just in Sundarbans or something. I'm talking about places like Shobha Bajar Ghat in Kolkata, Shodhpur, Boj. Shark attacks were so rampant, but very weirdly or unfortunately, post independence, this whole uh, attention to this entire group of fish, which are very conservation dependent in freshwater or non-marine region, just faded away. Like no one has done anything since, I guess, the last report of such a thing was 1954. I'm forgetting the author's name, but from Odisha, they found a shark in Mahanadi. But post that, I mean, I've been working a little bit considering my original job and work, whatever time I could give. I've been working a little bit, but beyond that, yeah, nothing is happening.
Okay, fine. So, what do you think? Project Dolphin can do a Project Tiger for all these species?
I mean, not exactly, but it can certainly allow us to, look at the river in a more holistic sense, not just looking at dolphins. I mean, of course, that will get all the attention as it has. I mean, all the tagging activities and everything that had happened recently in Assam. which they're also planning to replicate in West Bengal and the other states. But I think as we have different components, we can also, give more attention to other things. I mean, we also have components for like what- phytoplankton. I mean, plankton as a whole. So yeah, in a sense, I mean, I guess your statement is kind of right, because tiger as an umbrella species, covers a lot. So yeah, dolphin does do that, but I wouldn't say as much as Project Tiger has done or Project Elephant. But you never know, right? Like, it's only been 10
But the
years.
initiative is there. That is the
Yes, yes.
thing.
That definitely that's there. So we'll have to make most of the opportunity, or at least the best of it.
Thank you so much.
You're most
Yeah.
welcome, and thank you for to the organizers for allowing me and everyone else to present in such a wonderful platform.